Hello everyone. So before we get started, if you are enjoying the videos and find them informative, why don't you go ahead and think about liking and subscribing? It really does help out, and I want to do this full time. I just want to help y'all learn how to make games. It's what I love to do. And then, once you do that, have a great day. Otherwise, you know what? I still want you to have a great day. So, with that out of the way, this shameless plug, let's get into the video. Alright, so we've got our item management in place. Now we need to actually work on being able to, swing our tools and weapons. Ignore this project, this is my work ahead project, but we'll be able to swing our tools and weapons so that we can get onto the planting system. So we'll be able to do that. And combat. So let's jump over into ours. And we're going to do this inside the player blueprint. So what we'll do is eventually come back and clean this up. But for now, we're just going to add a left mouse button event. Towards the end of a dev cycle, I'll go back and replace these with the actual enhanced inputs. This is just how I usually prototype things out, just to make sure it works. It's just easier to get things going faster. So basically, when we push the left mouse button, we want to see if our character is already doing anything, and if they are, obviously don't do anything, but if they're not, then we can go ahead and pull information and tell it what we want them to do. So we're just going to set up the use functionality. So we'll get our player HUD, get our hotbar icons. We will get a copy of the one that we have selected, get the item info from it. We can break it open and check to see if the enumerator is equal to blank. If it is, that means we don't really want to do anything with it because there's nothing there to do anything with. But if it's not, then we can do other stuff. So we'll add a branch. And if it's not, then we will do a switch on item type. And this will get us all our different item types that we might have. So if we have a weapon, we'll swing it. If we have a tool, swing it. If we have a seed, we'll plant it. All that jazz. So for now, let's go to our tool. And we are going to get our tool reference, convert to a validated get. Get the item info from it. You can break that open also. We're gonna play the montage associated. So if it is valid, then we want to play the montage. The skeletal mesh will be our character's skeletal mesh. And then on notified begin, we can do a switch. Actually, it's easier to get to right here. So we'll do a switch on name, but we'll plug it into the notify begin, because each of our tool animations will have a little notify in it, and we'll be able to tell each tool, like for the hoe, it'll have till, and for the axe, it'll have chop, or something like that. So for right now, we'll have just 3. We'll have till, chop, and that's really all we need right now. Because for the hammer, we could just use the chop and get rid of that default pin. So, but for right now, we're just wanting the actual use, and then we'll go back and set up the later functionality. So when we play the montage, we'll add a boolean b is active, and we will set that to true here. And then on completed, I'll move this up, we can set it back to false. That way at the very beginning, we can do either another branch, or I'm just going to say, and, well, probably or. Let's do an or Boolean. So this will register true if they are either active or the item equals blank, and then won't do anything. But if they're not, then they'll go ahead and do something. So let's go set up our tool. We'll just set up, let's go into our item data table, go to the tiller. Don't have any of those set up yet. All right, let's go find our animation pack for the farmer. And for the tiller, it was, work the, I'm not gonna finish that. Since it's create anim montage, mt underscore player, player till. We can open that up and take a look. And there's our till the ground animation. So right about here is where they're actually going to hit the ground. So that's where I'm going to add my montage. Select it, and over here we can set its montage name so that it knows what to use at the switch. And we want to make sure that it's at the default slot and not the root slot. So I'll drag this up here. Going back into my item data table, establish that use animation. And now one thing that you do usually have to do is, because these are updated on construction, they're not updated until you actually move them. So you have to just kind of move it, and it should refresh the update. And then there's a use animation. I can spam it and he won't continue using it. And if I pick up the other thing, he doesn't know what animation to use. So we can do the same thing. So let's take a look. I think it's this one. All right, I'm going to use attack B. Be create anim montage mt underscore player, not chip, chop. And then right about here, I'll add a notify, montage notify, and it'll be the same as my other notify name, chop. Then I can go back over here to my axe and the hammer, really. I'll just go ahead and do both of them here. And then just to show you what I'm talking about before I actually update it. Oops. So I can pick it up, but, oh. Well, hell, okay. Never mind. It used to be that way, but I guess now it just updates. So now we can chop, kill. Any other animations you can use the same way, but if it's a weapon, you will need to go through here. If you have food or whatever, stamina. So let's go ahead and, since this one turned out to be pretty quick, let's go ahead and set up the till the ground so we can get our dirt plot ready. So this will be in our item data. I'm going to put it in the seeds folder because it goes along with that. Right click, I'm going to create a blueprint class of an actor. This will be our BP underscore dirt plot. It'll be what registers our seeds when we try to plant them. So we'll open that up. I'm going to add a box, not a box. What is it? Cube. I'm just going to add a static mesh. That's what I'm looking for. It'll be our, is it box? Cube? Cube. The 100 by 100 by 100 one. And I am going to set it to be 0.75, 0.75, and 0.1. Since it's 100 units across, so if we put it at 75%, it's 75 units across. And then if we set them side by side. It'll give just a little bit of a gap in between. You can make it 100, but they'll just flush together. But either, however you want to do it. So what we can do is when our character tills, we can spawn actor from class. Class will be our dirt plot. Of course, we'll do a check later on to make sure that we don't have a plot already, but for now we're just going to go ahead and spawn it. We'll get our interact checker and get its actor location. We'll split this struct pin and just plug that in there. Now we don't need to promote it to anything inside of our player, so we'll just do that there. And then now we can start tilling the ground. We will update this. I know it looks kind of crappy, but once we add textures and the ability to plant stuff at it, it'll look a lot better. One thing I don't like is that it does have collision on it. So what you might find is you till and then you stand on it, and then you till and you stand on it, and it's kind of slow, but I think you can see that it's starting to be like a staircase almost. So what we can do to get around that is we will go into the dirt plots collision and set it to ignore only pawn. And then it'll stay on the ground, even if we're standing on it. And then it won't get in the way. We can make it to where the crops themselves have collision, or I don't know. I kind of like how in Stardew Valley you can run through crops. Back in the older games like Harvest Moon, you would get stuck and it would make it hard to water some of them, but this will work for now. Well, one more thing we will do. Let's go ahead and prettify that dirt plot. So we'll create a material, m_dirt plot. And if you have the Fantastic Village pack, it has this field texture. I should have opened this first. But it has that field texture, so we can, inside of our material, hold T and left click to get a texture sample. I think it was called field. Yeah. We'll plug that into the base color. We'll set the roughness up to 1 and the specular to 0.35, something like that. Because it'll reflect a little bit of light, but it'll be dirt, so it's rough. And just a simple little dirt material, so that's all we need. Right click, create a material instance of it, mi_dirt plot, because we will need to make, we'll make some alterations to this later on, so it'll reflect a darker color when it's watered. But we'll just set this to the dirt plot for now. Now, when we till the ground, yeah. So now we can use some of our tools and all that, and in the next one we'll start, we'll go a little bit further with that. So I'll see y'all there. Bye.